Welcome to the Premium FPL podcast at premium_FPL on Twitter. We are now on game week 19, big double game week. I'm Callum, one half of the podcast, and I'm joined as always by Mindy. How's it going?
Yeah, a bit more chipper this week after you dressed me down for being negative. So I've booked up my ideas, come with a fresh attitude, and ready to sort of try and bring some positivity amongst all the chaos that's going on with the games and cancelled fixtures and whatever this week.
Love it. I must have missed your hashtag New Year, New Me Insta post.
Well, it's a bit late for New Year, New Me, isn't it? But how about you? How are you?
Yeah, my positive self as always, even though I've got the burden of a Mindy, what do you call it, firestorm coming up behind my back in the league.
Well, I mean, I don't think I'll gain rank on you this week, because you've got Arsenal players this week, haven't you? I haven't.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we're recording this. If you want to say, timestamp it.
Yeah. I was just about to. Yeah. You were one step ahead of me. Yeah.
As always.
Half 7 on Thursday. So Arsenal versus Crystal Palace is yet to be played, but recording now because otherwise it'd be tricky to get something out in time for the 4 or 5 loyal listeners we've got listening to the podcast.
You mean 400 or 500?
What was I? What else do we need to mention? Oh, before I forget, I want to have a rant about Sterling. What the fuck was? Why did he take that penalty?
Mate, I had Kevin De Bruyne captain as you did. I had a bet on City to score after the 85th minute. It was 4-1, and saw a penalty. I thought, Kev, easy, lovely penalty. Yeah, and Sterling, I don't know what happened there. It's almost if they give it him for a bit of confidence, but it's almost have an adverse effect because he's missed it. And
it's already known that he can't hit a dead ball very well. Like, nobody looked at him when he was running up and thought he looks like he's going to score. It's so annoying. And so I saw some quotes from Guardiola today saying it was because De Bruyne was tired from winning the penalty. Like the press he did to win the penalty. It's like, what the fuck? Is he just using that as an excuse?
He's protecting his player in public, isn't he? Like, yeah, you see De Bruyne fly at the keeper. He was in full force. De Bruyne wasn't tired.
Yeah, if De Bruyne, if he didn't have legs, would have found a way to get the ball under the bar. Still, it's just it's almost like Sterling doesn't care that everyone's captained De Bruyne on FPL this week.
Yeah, it would have been an extra. What would that have been? 10 points at least. Maybe he would have got a few more bonus.
Yeah, he probably would have got full bonus if he had a goal with his assist. So quite a big point.
Do you know what you've done, Sterling? You've upset Mindy. The new positive Mindy's already gone. We're only 1 minute into the podcast.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's more upsetting, that or his haircut for this year. Jesus.
Speaking of haircuts, what about that lockdown haircut? You got
that? Yeah, I might have to recommend Raheem pop down to mine in Anchor. It's not too far. Get the clippers out. We'd sort him out better than whatever twists and twirls he's got currently on his. We probably shouldn't go too deep on the physical.
Yeah, no, he's a great footballer, a good lad, yeah. But FPL, you've killed us both. Just to go over last week, before obviously we're in the midst of a blank game week, aren't we? But there's been quite a few fixtures midweek. But yeah, I got 77 points last week. I think you got around similar, didn't you?
Hang on, which week are you talking about?
17. Was that not last? Have we got? That was the last one recorded.
Oh, right, okay.
Hang on. It was FA Cup weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I've had a nightmare. Apologies, listeners.
You're still in 2020, mate. Jesus.
I just thought midweek was another game week, but I forgot about the FA Cup. Apologies. Scrap. Re-record. Stop. It's normally you that's ballsing up.
It's normally me. I did think for a second that I was like, if I, has a week of FPL just gone from my head?
I was just trying to trick you, and
Yeah.
it didn't work. But anyway, we're in the midst of a blank game week after an FA Cup week.
What's
I'm
your
on
current
39
score?
points.
39.
39.
With
What are you on?
Do you take a hit or anything?
No hit, but 2 transfers. It was just supposed to be one from Salah to De Bruyne, but DCL was ruled out, so I brought in Lacazette. Hopefully he's bagging as we speak. How about you?
I'm on 44, but I took a -4, so 40. That's me done for the week, so I didn't get in any Arsenal players. Yeah, I just what did I do? I brought in De Bruyne for Salah and Diaz for Kyle Walker-Peters. Wanted to have the double City defense for just the fixtures they've got coming, and I couldn't. It wasn't really an easy way for me to get another City attacker or an Arsenal player really, so I left it at that. And then what does that leave me with for next week? How many double game weekers have you got for next week then?
At the moment, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, because Bamford, obviously, in the Leeds. If you've not been aware of the news, you've not been all over Twitter like Mindy has. Leeds game with Southampton's now cancelled because of the FA Cup, Shrewsbury, Southampton. And Aston Villa did have a game cancelled against Everton, but they now have 2 because the Newcastle game's been rearranged for FA Cup 4 round week, so they have a double. So Everton are the ones who missed out, really. They don't have a game at all, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm not sure that'll affect people too much, though, because like people who have Dominic Calvert-Lewin lost
DCL,
him,
isn't it?
And they lost him to injury anyway.
Yeah, so they would have been enforced to take him out, yeah.
It's
almost worked well away from FPL. It's worked well for Everton because they've got a bit of an injury crisis at the moment, haven't
they? Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, I've got 8, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, sorry, 7. But then yeah, a couple of transfers to make this week to bump it up. Probably Kane and Son out, but we'll talk about that later. What rank are you on then currently?
Live rank is 61,076. How about you? You must be breaking the 100,000 mark.
Not quite. 170.
Right. But doubles, you might be back up there.
Yeah, I think the way that my plan was, I was probably going to fall this week with the not using the free hit like most people. But then hopefully have a better week in the double. And then if the 20 or so points that people gain on me this week on the free hit, if I can get better than that in the double game week 29 or whenever I decide to use it, hopefully it'll pay off in the long run. Well, that's the hope anyway. Have you thought at all about when you will use the free hit now that you've not used it this time?
No, I'm in the same boat as you. I like to think that around March, April time, the COVID situation might be a lot better. So you can kind of plan a bit better. You're not got the threat of a game being called off, really. I mean, it could happen, but I'd like to think that these games being cancelled now and players getting tested for COVID is all around the festive period and people spending time with families. Obviously, seeing a lot of pictures with footballers misbehaving in big groups. So I'd like to think once it calms down a bit, I think that's going to be the best time to execute a chip. I mean, we've been lucky because we've had enough players to play this week. If I didn't have enough players to play this week, I would have been in a different situation entirely. I mean, you've only got to look at my brother who's storming it. I think he's on 60 odd points and he's been boosted by Tierney not playing and Ampadu coming in. I mean, must run in the family this FPL look, mustn't it?
Did you just steal my line?
Well, you didn't get it on air.
I messaged you before saying, he's done well with Ramsdale, but I don't feel happy for him whatsoever anymore. Ampadu off the bench. It's scandalous almost.
So he's on 66 points with Lacazette and Smith Rowe. It's not a bad free hit to execute that, is it, when it goes like that?
Yeah, that's a banging free hit, that, to be fair. Did he, like, was that always the plan, or did he just end up having to use it because of what happened?
No, I think that was his plan.
Fair.
He's done really well by the safe option would have been to give two, like most people have got two City defenders, haven't they, in De Bruyne, but he actually took a punt on Foden, so fair play in that respect. I think the way Foden's playing now at the moment, the past few weeks, he's going to come back into a lot of people's thinking, I think. What is he? He's 6.2, which is a bargain, really. It's a shame that the defence is performing so well. You don't really want to deviate from the two defenders.
Yeah, I did think about Foden. It's just with, like, I already had Rashford and Fernandes in my team, and I wanted to keep Son and Souček. Like, I just didn't have. It's quite tough in midfield to make a slot free. So yeah, the second City defender just seemed a much neater solution for my team. With what's happened, like, how have your plans changed for what you want to do this week for the double?
I mean, in my head, I was going to do Lacazette and Son out for Salah and Rodrigo from Leeds because they had a nice double with Brighton and Southampton. And it's just weighing up whether I will change that. I might still keep it and play Rodrigo on the bench. I think my only other option was a -8, Son for Salah, Lacazette for Antonio, and Dyer out for Kufal. But that would leave me with 3 West Ham. And after the double, I don't think West Ham fixture list is that great. I don't think it's too bad. But if you have 3 from a team like West Ham, it doesn't give you much option on the bench. So that's my only worry. And we were going to talk about Antonio, weren't we? With the amount of people that are bringing him in, obviously them fitness concerns. He looked a bit leggy in the FA Cup game, but I'm not sure that pitch wasn't great.
So do you want to run through the running order for this week then?
The running order? I thought we were just...
Your face, that we don't have fun this week, but just it was worth it just to see that momentary panic on your face set in.
Panic? You told me to do it freestyle. Apparently we're getting good feedback from the freestyle limbo.
Have we?
Don't know.
You said apparently like you did, Smith. No, yeah. So Antonio, yeah. My worry with him is, just even though he played 90, you can just break down at any moment. He's just shown he can do that in the past, doesn't he? But
yeah,
with how good the games are for this double, it does make it so tempting to risk it.
So who are you thinking of? What your transfers possibly?
So it'll be Son and Kane out. 90% sure on that. Son to Salah, and then it's just deciding on which striker I get in for Kane to help fund that.
If actually taking Son and Kane out, even though they've got the basement boys.
Mate, Sheffield are back. They just beat Newcastle 1-0.
Did you watch the game? Jesus Christ! I don't know how that was billed as a Premier League match. Yeah.
I did not watch that.
The fans were lucky not to be at that one.
No, but I think I was saying, I can't remember if I was saying it on the podcast last week or not, but Sheffield, they don't lose games by many, even though they just lose every game.
Yeah, fair enough.
And Tottenham they've not looked like putting a few past a team since, I can't really remember, since, like,
but the only problem with Spurs is if they get 1 or 2, it's coming from 1 or 2 players. So you kind of...
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's going to... Son or Kane are going to score the goal, invariably.
But I think with the double, though, you'd back... I have to back... Well, you don't have to back, but I think you have to back 2 decent players with two decent fixtures over Kane and Son with 1.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that, yeah.
And also the other thing to factor in is that Tottenham's next game is Liverpool.
Yeah.
which makes it a little bit easier. So I'm actually thinking because Martial looked like he had a hamstring tweak at the end of the game this week. So if that is a problem and he's out for a little bit, I might actually consider Cavani because
Yeah, it's not a bad shout.
United's fixtures coming out of the double are decent as well. So they've got Sheffield at home, Arsenal away, Southampton at home, Everton home, West Brom, and then Newcastle. I mean, Martial will probably be fit towards the end of that run, but yeah, either. See, I think it's between Antonio Cavani and maybe Watkins because Aston Villa have got so many games to catch up on. Like we were saying before we started, they're a team that are going to have more doubles come in. And I don't know, he has, with Grealish laying on chances for him, I don't know whether he's been unlucky or if he's just not a great finisher, but I kind of feel like there's goals coming for him at some point. He can't keep missing all these chances.
Well, I've already owned him this season. He made me miss out on our monthly prize, didn't he, by a point because what did he do? Hit the crossbar with a penalty? Fucking idiot.
Well, yeah, that's even more reason for me to bring him in, actually, then. It'll push you off.
Yeah, true. We discussed, didn't we, before coming out? The only problem with Villa is your player might have tested positive if that's the player. The City game might come too soon if they have, but then I'd fancy him to be fit for Newcastle. Because I know Jesus and Walker came back after about 10 days. So going off that timeline, you'd fancy them to bat for Newcastle. It's just a City game, but you'd see that as a free hit anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Although the way Villa played against Liverpool away earlier in the season, anything can happen. So
yeah, but Liverpool don't have mighty Diaz and Stones, mate. It's the second coming of Maldini and Nesta, isn't it?
Oh, something else I want to mention actually. How the fuck has Cancelo not had an assist recently? The amount of chances he lays on, and like it's like the City players have got some sort of private joke running. Like we're just going to keep. It's like nobody wants him to get an assist. They're just going to keep missing everything he lays on.
Yeah, it's hilarious, isn't it? He's brilliant to watch. We was discussing earlier that City kind of lack that Sane figure now of like getting past the player byline and cross it in. Him and Foden are probably closest we've got to that now, and he's playing fullback. Like you say, it must be quite infuriating owning him and not getting the points he kind of deserves, really.
Yeah, it's annoying, especially as a couple of fallen to Kevin as well. But I'm sure the attacking returns will come at some point. Can't be greedy. At least he's starting every week, wasn't
getting a clean sheet
wasn't necessarily like a certain surefire thing with Pep Roulette and whatever. So do you have any plans to play a chip this week?
No. Last time we discussed, I don't know if it was last week or just before Christmas, we were both pretty much intent on the triple captain Salah, but his form's kind of nosedived. I'd fancy him United and Burnley at home. We always talk Salah at home is a different animal compared to away, isn't it? I still want to get him back in my team, but the debate for me at the moment is whether he's going to be captain or not. Not is he going to be triple captain or not. I kind of deviated from that, which might be the wrong decision, but who knows? There might not be a better time to play triple captain. I mean, Liverpool, what would it be? 10 days rest before that game or something?
So, what about a City player? Crystal Palace at home, Aston Villa at home.
Yeah, it could be a COVID depleted Aston Villa. Well, the only option would be Kev, wouldn't it? I don't think I'd be trusting Raheem after the weekend. Or maybe Cancelo. Maybe he might get the assist that he finally earns. My worry about Cancelo, you talk he's nailed, but he might get a rest, one of them too.
And some people are saying that probably reading too much into it, but with Guardiola saying that De Bruyne was tired at the end of the last game, will he manage his minutes over these two? But
Nah, no chance. He'll get his rest in the FA Cup.
right. So yeah,
I've been insistent
if
he
I
was fit
was
that De Bruyne, but
if I was going to triple captain someone, I'm not sure yet. It would definitely be De Bruyne over Salah this week for me.
right.
Just because he's coming into it playing better, and I think the two games are better.
I mean, I couldn't believe he only got an assist last night. He was brilliant. I think he had about 8 shots.
Well, there's no way that if there's a penalty in these next two games, he's not having it. Surely now.
No, I think it was just confident boost for Sterling. It was pretty much the last kick of the game. I think it just shows that he's not too bothered about scoring goals. He'd rather assist than De Bruyne.
So bench boost is a non-starter for you as well, is it this week?
Yeah, I think my bench would be, if I do the two that I say, which I'm edging towards, it would be Rodrigo, Holding, Ferguson, and Button. So yeah, probably not. How about you?
No, yeah, my bench isn't good enough. I've got Brewster and Kilman on there, so no. But I've seen some people are weighing up whether to get it out because obviously with the games moving around and stuff, people's plans to have a full bench for bench boosting have changed because of what's happened. But I think if you've still got decent players on your bench that are playing and a lot of other double game week, like most of your first 11 is double game week players, it could still be a good time to play it because you can't. It is annoying to think. I was thinking before when I wildcard later, it means that I'll have to sort of think about keeping money on my bench to make the most of the bench boost, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, would you not? The easy way to get out of that is wildcard the week before your bench boost, so you'd wildcard before a double. So those bench players won't be there forever. It's not as if you need the bench money for a long period. You kind of wildcard the week before.
Yeah, but then that money's on your bench for that means you have to make transfers on your bench players to get that money back into your first 11, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you can gradually do that though, couldn't you? Two in the week after and 2 the week after that.
It's just so I think there is some merit to the idea of if you've got decent enough players on your bench this week, and one or two of them are double game week ones or whatever. Even if I think if your plan was to play it this week, I wouldn't let one or two of your players now not having a double anymore ruin it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, if it's
those
games are likely to be Leeds as well, and Leeds have still got Brighton at home, which is a good game.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're someone with 3 leads and you're thinking, so Southampton just have one as well. So yeah, if you brought in Ings or whatever, and
well, maybe not Ings. He's just got COVID.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
So hang on. I think the player I saw that was back, the striker was Adams is back from concussion, isn't he? But Ings has got COVID, right.
Ings just got tested with corona.
Well, that's annoying. So it's just that one of our questions from Zach was about Ings, and he didn't even mention that he had COVID. So he mustn't have seen the news then.
4 hours ago it was, yeah.
Right. So yeah.
Breaking news right here on the FPL Premium Podcast. Premium FPL Podcast.
Breaking news from 4 hours ago. So who's your captain on currently then for this week?
Kev, like you at the moment, but I may be swayed to Salah just because Salah's just more explosive and more fun to own, I think. Kev has looked brilliant recently, but you never know with Mo, do you?
Does Salah's fixture against league leaders United not put you off?
I've still not been. Obviously, I'm going to say this. I'm a City fan. I'm still not been convinced by him. Not from an FPL perspective either. Bruno obviously brilliant, but even the last few games he's looked not up to his usual big high scoring self. Pogba's quite interesting. He's looked really good recently.
Yeah.
But I could see Salah getting 1 or 2 at the weekend.
Right.
Still. Why
Yeah.
do you think United are impenetrable now?
Not impenetrable. Just I just know that, like, I saw how that City game went, and
Yeah.
it
I
happened
don't think 0-0 will be a bad result for both teams, to be honest.
exactly. And like, I think, was it the Chelsea game as well earlier in the season where Ollie played out a really awful, boring game as well. I think he does kind of change the way United play in these big games. So yeah, I'm not sure I'm not sure it'll be a high scoring game. Is what I'm getting at. I don't think, I'm not saying United will win it. I just don't think it'll be, like a thriller. So yeah, the other thing to mention though on United is that if people are considering maybe captaining Bruno this week, because maybe that you're looking at the Fulham game for the big points in that. Bruno's now on four yellows, so if he picks up a yellow against Liverpool, he'll be suspended for the Fulham game. So,
do you know when that resets?
I think it's like, is it the 19th game of the season or something like that?
So,
So,
right, yeah.
I wouldn't captain Bruno this week. That would be enough to put me off. If I was thinking of doing it, and another player who's on 4 yellows that'll be highly owned is Grealish. So that's something to think about, because yeah, he could end up missing one of his double if he picks up one more. A lot of Grealish's yellows are just for like mouthing off shit to the refs as well. I think I've seen two of his yellow cards, and they were both him just like swearing like "fuck off" to the ref and shit. Like, he just
Well, yeah. Do you watch Villa's games? He just gets hacked down for 90 minutes. I think the refs who don't give him protection, he kind of gets peeved off with.
Yeah,
I think it was United that they were literally taking it in turns just to
right.
whack him.
But the mouth he's got on him, it reminds me of Rooney, like the way he just like starts effing and blinding. And I guess it comes across worse now because you can't hear the crowd drowning it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny, but it's annoying for people who are like, I wouldn't now, if you don't have him, bring him in for the double just because of that. Maybe probably a case of like, don't buy, don't sell.
Yeah, possibly. If it's one more game, you'd like to think. Oh wait, well, Villa have only played 15, so he's got a few more.
Yeah.
Kyle Walker-Peters is one as well, and Harry Maguire, probably 2 others standouts.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something to think about. Check the yellow card amnesty thing, the suspension. What do they call it? Suspension tightrope, or whatever the phrase is. So is there anyone else that you're looking at to bring in for a -4? Have a bit of fun. Have a bit of fun with the double game week.
Well, that's the nature of our gameplay, isn't it? Fun, F-U-N. I'm just looking at the fixtures. No one really, other than the ones we've discussed, kind of stand out. Chelsea look a bit shit recently. I think Liverpool and City are the most exciting options, but there's no spoiler alert there, is there? And West Ham, obviously. Yeah, were you excited by Leicester or Chelsea? They're over 2 with doubles.
One player who has caught my eye recently is Maddison at Leicester. Right. I just don't have a spot for, because I was saying before about my midfield's kind of full, but he obviously had a disrupted start to the season with his coming back from injury, but
my worry about him though, they're managing his schedule still with his big injury.
Yeah,
he doesn't play every game. I think it was a couple of games ago he got the rest off completely because he was watching it from home.
Yeah, and Vardy was rested for one over Christmas as well, wasn't he? So you can't really rely on him to play 2 in quick succession either. So yeah, I guess it kind of rules out Leicester. And Chelsea, I mean,
I think I'd only be swayed by the fullbacks, maybe if Reece James is back or Chilwell, but even then, you just don't fancy him to keep a clean sheet, do you?
I mean, yeah. And now that I'm into the new AC Milan rock stars of the City defense, like, don't know if I want a Chelsea defender anymore. Not anytime soon.
I
So
actually seen
yeah,
a good tweet last night that said defending a 1-0 lead, Ruben Diaz is like defending a 3-0 lead. Just made me laugh. He's an absolute monster.
For people who maybe haven't got like many double game week players, like what do you reckon? How many
How many do you think
yeah,
you need
or like
in?
how many hits would you take like to get them in, sort of thing?
Well, we've talked there. Like I said, the only players I'd really want are City, West Ham, and Liverpool, and then maybe United. But Liverpool away, Fulham away, kind of you only want one or two really. So maybe if I've got a good contingent from those three, Man City, West Ham, Liverpool, say if I've got 5 or 6 from them, and I think I'd be happy. Any more is a bonus really, but I think 5's probably the benchmark really. I think if I had below, then I'd be willing to get a few hits to get more in.
Yeah, I think I'd sort of say around 2 hits. I'm probably going to just take the 1 -4, but I think a -8 is fine in a week like this where so many players are playing twice.
Yeah, just have a bit of foresight as well. So if you're bringing in players, look at the 5-week period rather than just that. Obviously, the big doubles a big one, but yeah, look for the 5-week period because, like I said, I was tempted to bring in 3 West Ham, but it would kind of further down the line, I'd be scuppering myself a bit.
Because the other thing to mention is like people might think they've missed the boat with like the City defenders, but if you look at
No.
City's next 5, exactly 5, there's still a few clean sheets there. So if you're not already on 3 City players, it's definitely take a hit or 2 to do that. Still, I reckon.
Yeah, I think 3. Either 2 defenders in De Bruyne or 1 defender, De Bruyne and Foden. If you're feeling a bit more adventurous, I think
there is the slight risk that a City game gets called off and then 2 of your players are gone. But I think it's worth that risk with sort of City being a bit more consistent now. And then yeah, that top tip I mentioned last week about having captain and vice on different players, I'm just going to keep doing that for now.
Mindy's top tip. You got one this week?
No, I think it was a 1 week wonder that. Although I gave out 2. What was my other top tip last week? There was 2 in 1 week. I sort of
Spunked your load too early.
Yeah. Well, why don't you come up with a gem for once?
I'm full of gems. Everything that comes out my mouth there.
And what about a bit of I know we've not planned it, but on the fly, like, is there anything you're looking at in the next few that, like, is there anything you want to do in the next couple, that any fixture changes, like?
No, I'm the players that I have in that have kind of got games to catch up. I'm kind of reluctant to sell them. So maybe if they stay on my bench or just stay on the bench or in like the 5th midfield spot or something. So obviously Aston Villa's the big one. They've only played 15 and some teams have played 18 already. So you kind of, if you can keep Grealish and Martinez and, well, if you say Watkins there or a defender on your bench, I'd be reluctant to sell them if you can kind of get away with it, just because those games could be rearranged at any moment and you could find yourself in this next game week or 2 game weeks on, you've got a double there that other teams don't have. Obviously Leeds is the other one and Everton will soon become one as well. So if you've got, well, DCL is a bit more expensive, so that's probably different, but yeah, just keep an eye on teams that have got games to catch up on, because you could have a double at any moment.
Yeah. The only thing I'm looking at, just because I am a little bit not anxious, but what's the word? I've got a slight worry, obviously, taking out Kane and Son this week, as you sort of indicated before, with them having Sheffield. But yeah, they play Liverpool next week. But then, yeah, Brighton away, game week 21. So I might do Rashford to Son in game week 21 because United have Arsenal that week. But yeah, I'm not really put that much thought into that. But it's just whenever you take out a big player who's well owned, like I always like to just have a think like what would I do if I need to get that player back. So Rashford to Son, if I want to captain Son that game week, be probably what I do. But it depends how United do in these next 2 or 3 games. Just monitor that. But yeah, I've not really thought further ahead than that, to be honest. It is kind of hard to plan at the moment with everything changing. I think it's not really I'm not going to give it top tip billing, but I'd say just because with these games changing and fixtures being changed and moved, the FPL deadline's been moving around as well. So just be very careful with that. Yeah, and check what's happening with these, get the games that are moving, because it does fuck shit up. So the deadline has moved this week, hasn't it? 'Cause it was supposed to be Friday, but now that it's
Saturday,
changed to Saturday.
11,
But then I guess that's better.
You've got less time. You got less time the week after because the Villa Newcastle's been rearranged, so you've only got 3-day turnaround. Still got plenty of time. I mean, over Christmas you were having less than 24 hours, weren't you? So if you're well across it, you should be all right.
So I was just checking something there. So I mentioned I might consider Cavani if Martial was injured. Well, I don't know. The latest tweets I'm seeing in top tweets is the injury's not as bad as first feared. He'll be assessed on Thursday morning. So there should be an update after that then. I don't know. But one of the questions is also from Zach saying, is Cavani an option as a replacement for Calvert-Lewin? I think basically the answer to that is whether Martial's fit or not. I think if Martial's fit, then it's just too much rotation risk. I probably wouldn't chance it.
It's a shame that news with Danny Ings. That would have been, the Leeds game being cancelled probably stopped that anyway. But if he still had that double this week, he probably would have been one that would have suggested. But obviously not now. He's got COVID and stuff.
Let me just quickly bring up Zach's team, see what he's working with. Oh, he played his free hit this week, so I can't even see what his actual team will be. Is there a way for me to do that?
Game week. You can go game week back. I can bring you up.
Yeah, I just want to see his strike force and then hopefully give a slightly better answer to his question.
Zach, he's got Calvert-Lewin, Bamford, Danny Welbeck. What happened to Welbeck? Did he get injured?
So maybe he must have done Welbeck to Ings.
Or has he got Ings?
Yeah, so he says, so his question
the curse
was
of the early transfer.
Yeah, he's probably been listening to you too much about the risk being worth it. Is Cavani an option since Calvert-Lewin needs selling? I already brought Ings in, and then his second game got called off. So yeah, he put that question in before realizing that Ings was out.
Oh God,
who's
going to break it to him? hopefully he's not listening to the podcast thinking, "Oh, fuck."
Antonio then probably is probably the one. If he can risk another gambler on injury prone,
he's not only got COVID, now he's risking Antonio's hamstrings.
Is there definitely not any other decent strikers to consider there a double?
Striker's such a weird point this year. Other than Kane, no one's really firing, are they?
I mean, they've all got question marks, haven't they? Like Watkins could have COVID.
Vardy's second in total score.
But Vardy, how many days are there between Leicester's 2 games?
But Vardy got a rest in the FA Cup, didn't he? So
yeah, but he has that hip thing though, doesn't he? Like,
but I think he'll play both them games. Okay. I'm putting my neck on the line because I think I think he'll get the rest in the FA Cup the weekend after. So if he's playing 2 there, then he's not playing for another week there. So whereas Christmas, it was pretty much games every 2 or 3 days, wasn't it? I think he'll play personally. I can't see a situation where Rodgers isn't playing Vardy against Chelsea.
One other option I've just thought about, if you have the inclination similar to you that Liverpool score a couple against United.
Bobby Firmino.
Yeah, because his start's back like assured now with Jota injured. So, and in December he did look to have his sort of scoring touch back. So yeah, that could be an option.
Yeah, I'm just never been swayed by. He's doing quite well FPL wise this year, isn't he? Like you say, but I've just never been. If I want to get a Liverpool attacker in, it's Salah or Mane personally.
Yeah. I'm just sort of thinking. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Either Werner is still in the squad.
Werner, I prefer
Werner on the back burner.
I think Werner's like, apart from not having Salah and captaining Salah against Leeds in Gameweek 1, starting with Werner is probably my second biggest regret for the season. Because like, I'd planned for so long not to have him because he's a new player to the league and it takes time to settle and all that shit. And then I just saw everyone had him and I just sort of went with it. And yeah, it's just proven to be one of those things where you should stick with what you thought in the beginning. But his ownership was crazy at the beginning, though, wasn't it? Like everyone had him in the starting team. Which just tricked me.
Yeah, it was just because there was so much money in midfield, and he was like the premium striker, wasn't he? Because Kane kind of last year he was playing the role that he's playing now, really like quite deeper, but he wasn't getting on the end of things. Whereas now he's just become a beast, hasn't he? Even when Spurs aren't playing that well, he looks phenomenal.
He just doesn't. Werner just doesn't look like, in the games I've seen recently of Chelsea, he just doesn't look like scoring. He doesn't seem to like.
Yeah.
When he strikes the ball, it's like he doesn't seem to aim for the corners or like to try and beat the keeper. It's like he's aiming at the keeper on purpose. And yeah, I think
the only other striker in form but doesn't have a double is Lacazette. If he scores a couple tonight, then Newcastle at home might not be that bad of a fixture.
Yeah.
But you're double or quits, aren't you?
I think because I've already committed to I'm already going to make 2 transfers this week. Like, I don't want to take a -4 for someone who's only got a single game. It's a bit extravagant, that, even for me.
Extravagant's your middle name.
Did you have any questions this week from people?
Yeah, there was one from my brother who's just talking. Are we going to triple captain this week? And I think it was just because we were swaying towards Salah, weren't we, a few weeks ago? But I just think that the issues around COVID and Salah's form, then I'm not. I don't think I will. Right. But you think you might be swayed by De Bruyne, right?
Yeah, I could captain De Bruyne. I just wonder, because part of my thinking is later on in the season, when Champions League is back, will we be as sure of players like Salah and De Bruyne getting 90 in both games, even if they have a double later in the season?
Yeah. So, yeah, no.
I think I don't. While the COVID picture may be clearer, then I think there'll be other factors like with teams like getting back into European competitions and stuff. There would still be uncertainty then. I think I don't think like if the COVID fear and thing about games being cancelled and whatever is what's making you not want to triple captain this week, I'd maybe rethink that a little bit because I don't think.
Yeah, and
go on.
And now you say that, Not that I'm easily swayed by you and do a U-turn after the podcast.
Oh my god, I hate it when this happens. I say
But,
what I'm thinking, and then you're just like, actually, I'm doing that.
You do make a good point, because City can kind of rest De Bruyne at the moment around the FA Cup fixtures and stuff. Whereas, like you say, the deeper they go into the European competition, maybe
Oh my god,
that'll take precedent over the.
We're both triple captaining De Bruyne this week, aren't we? Jesus Christ.
No, I'm just saying, I get where you're coming from.
Okay.
It might not be a sure thing that De Bruyne gets 90 in a Premier League come April or something. The triple captain for me would be Salah.
I'm definitely waiting for you to tweet out what you're doing this week before I tweet out what I'm doing. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Look forward to it 1 minute past the deadline.
I didn't keep track of what time we started, but have we? I can't think of anything else to talk about.
No, I think we've covered every stretch of decision making around what people are going to be thinking.
It's a short and sweet one maybe this week, or a short and shit one, depending on your opinion of us. But some stuff to think about there with the double. I guess the main takeaways are: don't be afraid to take hits this week, especially if you've not got free City. And I mean, I wouldn't be. Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid of free West Ham either this week, really, with their 2 games. I wouldn't. If I bring in Antonio, I would actually end up with free West Ham. So.
Yeah, my only worry is further down the line, you might be scuppering yourself, but best to get the points on the board, I guess.
But yeah, we'll be back to our slick selves with a running order and a plan of what we're going to talk about and all that next week. I think, as long as things as long as COVID starts behaving and games don't start moving around all over the place again.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
But yeah, good luck for the double, everyone. Just don't get more points than me.
Yeah, and if in doubt, triple captain De Bruyne.
All right, nice one. See ya.